On today's show, the LA Clippers end their 7-game road trip back in LA, but it'll come on the road at the Crypto.com arena against the Lakers. How can they solve their defensive woes? And what are they going to need in this one to get the W? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for 6, and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube to get us up to 8,000 subscribers before the end of the calendar year. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, Clipper Nation, we are at the end of our 7-game road trip, which will be the longest that we go on this year. We're currently 2-4 on that road trip, and we will be ending it right back home, but our former home of Staples Center against the Lakers. Before we get into that Laker game, I want to talk about some of our defensive woes, and then Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac, James Harden, what we're going to need out of those guys in this one. But let's talk about our defensive woes, right? So when we look at team defense in the NBA right now, last year, that was our calling card. You know, that was what we prided ourselves on. We were 3rd in the league in defensive rating. This season, we're 25th. Why is that, you might ask? Well, there is no question that we got older this year. We got older. And teams know that we're old. And teams know that if they run, and push the pace off our misses, we are going to have a hard time getting back in transition. And I was watching some plays of the game the other day, the Cleveland game. And even the likes of Kawhi Leonard, lagging getting back, not sprinting back. You got situations where Brook Lopez in transition is picking up the ball and then randomly without talking just leaves the ball. Leaves the guy who has the ball in his hands, just leaves him. These kinds of things cannot happen. Cannot happen. Now, according to an article by our good friend from The Athletic, Law Murray, he stated that the Clippers are 8th in opponent free throw rate attempt rate, which is good, means that we don't allow teams to get to the line too much. And we're 8th in paint points allowed. But we don't create as many turnovers as last season, where last season we were 8th in the league at opponent turnover rate, and we're 21st this season. And I think part of that has to do with, as I mentioned earlier in the season, Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn not starting as much at the same time. Last season, we had a lot of games starting with either Terrence Mann or Chris Dunn alongside Derrick Jones Jr. And this season, we had Bradley Beal starting instead. And especially a not healthy Bradley Beal, that definitely made a difference in our defensive tenacity, in our defensive intensity, and most importantly, our ball pressure that allowed teams to get uncomfortable. Or should I say, didn't allow teams to get comfortable and force turnovers. So for me, that's the first and foremost thing. You replace a defensive-minded player in your starting lineup with Bradley Beal on a minutes restriction. That matters. And I can't lie, Kawhi Leonard hasn't been great defensively at all. He's been okay. His effort level on the defensive end is good, but not great compared to the Kawhi Leonard that we've become accustomed to the last 7 years or last 6 years as a Clipper, even not even comparing him to his San Antonio or Toronto days. So we're going to need a higher level of effort from him. We're going to need a higher level of effort from John Collins as well, but also adding somebody like Chris Paul. He can't stay in front of anybody right now. And I shouldn't say right now, he can't stay in front. Kevin Porter Jr. was a better defender than him. Kevin Porter Jr. last season was a better defender than Chris Paul. So that's made our defense worse. We're replacing a couple more Brook Lopez minutes that we got last year with some more Brook Lopez minutes. That doesn't help our defense. And for all the stuff people wanted to say about Amir Coffey, I truly believe he helped our defense as well. So those are some of the reasons why our defense is worse. But it should not go from 3rd to 25th. I mean, we still have Chris Dunn on the roster. We still have Derrick Jones Jr. on the roster. John Collins is supposed to give us more size. We haven't leaned into him as much. Brook Lopez was supposed to help, but he's hurt our defense a bit. And Chris Paul has definitely hurt our defense. And then, so we talked about the opponent turnover rate having dropped because of the lack of ball pressure. The threes allowed per game have skyrocketed from 9th last season to 28th, according to law. And allowing open threes has to do with a lot of things, mainly giving up dribble penetration. Because once teams get in the paint and you have to help and collapse, that's what leaves shooters open for three. In transition, teams also know when they push the pace on us, we will be late getting back, so you can get a lot of transition threes. But for me, we've had a lot of defensive miscommunications. When Bradley Beal was playing, he was frequently involved in miscommunications, and that comes from not knowing each other, not knowing, hey, are we going to switch this off-ball action? Do I need to help do I need to be the low man and help Zubac out, or can he handle defending the pick and roll 2-on-2? I also think teams are just draining threes on us so far this season, and the lob averages will work out in the end. But we got to do a better job showing resistance. Now, everybody knows that modern NBA defense is very hard, especially with all the pick and rolls. But we did such a good job of last year was guarding these pick and rolls 2-on-2, meaning that whoever was guarding the screener would do a good job getting over the screen, and Ivica Zubac wouldn't have to help too much. And that would allow the players that are guarding the shooters that are spacing the floor to not have to help Zubac on his man. So, because when you do that, you're leaving a shooter open for three. That's why teams, when they play pick and roll basketball in today's NBA, oftentimes when you take away the ball handler and the roller, the man that's going to be open is a shooter, three-point shooter. So when you cannot defend those pick and rolls 2-on-2, which most teams can because you still have to fight over a screen, you have to send another man to help, and that leaves open the shooters. Last year, we did a good job of really not needing that extra help that much because the point of attack defender and Zoo were able to contain. Now, Zoo has also not been as great defensively in terms of his rim protection. I don't know if I point it out to anything specific. I just think he needs to be better, more alert, more lively, and more commanding. And I think we saw a little bit of that in the Cleveland game. But 28th in the league in threes allowed. It all comes down to the people guarding the ball for me. And then can't get back from 12th in fast break points allowed last season to 29th. There's no secret to why we have the second most fast break points allowed. We're old and slow. I talked about our transition defense. And here's the thing. If our offense is not good, then we are going to be missing shots, which allows teams to get out and run. And that has contributed to our defensive woes as well. And then this is a very telling one also. We were first in defensive rebound percentage last season, and now we're 23rd. And we brought in John Collins to help with that. However, Ty Lue has not played him 30-plus minutes and has not started him in a lot of games. So that's something that needs to change. And we need to do a better job collectively boxing out. Without Zubac boxing out or without Zubac grabbing rebounds, nobody else seems to care. And it's been a theme since the first game against Utah. That's a really, really telling statistic. First in defensive rebounding percentage last year to 23rd. A lot of this stuff is just effort. I know we're old, but a lot of this stuff is just effort. We need to understand that we're older, so we need to work even harder getting back. We need to know that teams understand that we can be exploited in transition. Every team is going to run hard against us when they can. So, and Ty Lue said, I think it starts with our guards getting into the ball. We got to hit our man before the screen hits us. And I think our bigs have to do a better job of being up. And we talk about being up all night, but Zoo is 7 foot and Brook is 7'2". We're asking Zoo to play 30, 35 minutes a night. I think it's hard for them to consistently do it every single time. And that's why we have certain quarters when we're playing good defensively, and at certain times we don't play good defensively because we're not up on the pick and roll as much as we need to be. End quote. So let's talk about that for a sec. We're a drop coverage team, but I guess he's talking about not dropping too deep. So maybe Zoo and Brook Lopez have to do a better job of that. But Brook Lopez is definitely scared he's going to get blown by. That's why he's not up that much on the pick and rolls, for sure. Zubac can maybe get away with it a little bit more, but we're a drop coverage team largely. So he's talking about the guards getting into the ball. I agree. I think Chris Dunn has gambled too much and not stayed as solid this year. He's gotten beat off the ball because he's gambling as well. Derek has been Derek. I think he's been fine. It's just less minutes with the two of them, in my opinion. He said our guards are not getting into the ball. Damn, that's telling. And then if we're doing that, then our low man is late. So it's everything just tied together. So just having less breakdowns, I think, locking into what we're trying to do as far as the game plan. We've gotten better over the last 4 or 5 games, but tonight I thought we took a step backward. That was after the Orlando game. So our guards not getting into the ball. He's putting them on blast. And he's right. If we're not doing that, then Zoo has to overcompensate, and then we have to have somebody help Zoo out. So we will see. We will see. And it'll be a test in this one tonight against the Lakers. Going to be talking about our crosstown rivals on the next segment coming up. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your personal record, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. I got to tell you a little something about Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor developed hydration that keeps me running at full power, no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. I like using Drip Drop as part of my daily routine. I'll mix a packet in the morning before the gym or during that midday slump when I'm feeling sluggish. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard, and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. All right. Clippers looking to win against the Lakers. First off, thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. So the Lakers, 12-4 so far this season, unfortunately. I have only watched their first 6 games, actually 7 games, and it's been the Austin Reaves show. It's been the Luka Doncic show. Now they have LeBron back, but somebody that, so it's going to be a lot of, let's see if we can guard the ball, right? Luka Doncic, Austin Reaves. Luka, he is a Clipper killer. Although we are 2-1 against him in the postseason, he always gives us a hard time. And this will be not his first time playing us as a Laker. What am I saying? We played him twice last year. But it's going to be a challenge. Can we stay in front of the ball? Can we guard Luka without fouling? We've committed a lot of silly fouls this season, especially the likes of like Chris Dunn reaching and stuff. We need to be very disciplined when it comes to Luka. Now, the question is, without DJ, who's going to guard him? Who's going to guard him? Because Chris Dunn, I assume, will be guarding Austin Reaves, and I think Kawhi is going to have to take LeBron, or John Collins, one of the two is going to have to take LeBron. It's going to be a very interesting test to see who actually picks up Luka to start this game. Now, what we have to do is play through Ivica Zubac. They're missing DeAndre Ayton, so we're going to see Jackson Hayes start. And Jackson Hayes has had some good moments. At least in those first couple of games that I watched, he had some good moments. He missed some of them as well. But he should not be able to guard Zoo in the post. We need to really play through Zoo. James Harden, since he's become a Clipper, has not had the best games against the Lakers for whatever reason. Austin Reaves has done a good job on him. Marcus Smart, you're going to see him as well. We need to be, or James needs to be, I think what he has to do is just take care of the ball. I think that's the main thing, because even though the Lakers aren't like the fastest team in the world, they still play a lot of half-court basketball. If we turn the ball over against them, given Luka and LeBron's outlet passing ability, we could be in trouble. So James Harden, if we could get a great James Harden game, especially considering he did not play well against the Cavs, if we get a good James Harden game where he bounces back, he's looking like himself, we got a chance. Now, of course, this game is going to be played on the Lakers floor. So it'll be a Lakers home game, which means they're going to have their home crowd. So, it makes things a little tougher. But for me, James Harden, Ivica Zubac, what are we going to get out of those two guys? Ivica Zubac in terms of dominating the interior, James Harden in terms of just playing up to his level. Now, with Zoo, we need to feed him. It needs to be a point of emphasis that with Ayton out, we need to go to Zoo. Will that be the case? I don't know. You just never know with Ty Lue and the coaching staff in terms of their usage of Zoo. This is the same guy that Ty Lue said is not our third best player. According to him, Bradley Beal is our third best player. He didn't obviously say blatantly Zoo is not our third best player, but he called Bradley Beal our third best player in the year 2025. So I don't know. This is going to be a tough game because the Lakers are playing good basketball so far this season. They've had very many versions of their team so far. But unlike the Clippers, they've had an offensive engine that has propelled them regardless. Actually, that's a harsh take because we had James Harden. But I don't know what to say. There were games that they didn't have LeBron and and Luka. And Austin Reaves hit a game winner against the Wolves, had 51 points against the Kings. Like, he just went virtuoso. But I also think the Lakers remember, I've only watched the first 7 games. I saw a level of defensive buy-in. Like, they don't have as good of defensive personnel as us, but they had a level of defensive buy-in, just given their defensive level as individuals, but everybody playing hard, everybody trying. And I think that really helps. But also their offense has been so much better. Guys like Rui Hachimura, like the first 6 games, he was 50% or higher on his field goal percentage every single game. When you make shots, your defense sets. And that's the thing about the Clippers. I think our half-court defense is not that bad. I just think we need to set up our defense by making shots so they can, beat our set defense. Because in transition, we're kind of a disaster. But we're going to, in my opinion, we're just going to need to see a higher effort level. More communication, better communication, better hustling, more hustling in transition. Just an added level of everybody taking more individual pride in being a better defender than they've been so far this season. And maybe you'll see a change. Because for me, last season, it was an attitude, a defensive, what's the word? Obviously, Jeff Van Gundy sets it all up, right? But a level of defensive, I feel like intensity is so cliche, but we seem like we wanted to really hang our hats on that end of the floor. We're not doing that this season. We don't look like we have that hunger to defend the same way. So we need to change that. We can talk about all the X's and O's. We have to change that. A lot of these plays that I'm watching are a lack of effort and a lack of focus. So we'll see. The Lakers will be a good test for us. But coming up, going to talk about Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac. What good things do we see from them last game and give us a little bit of optimism? Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. And if you want to check out the ticket prices for the Laker-Clipper game tonight, go over to Game Time. Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the 5-12 Clippers play the Lakers on NBC tonight. Now, we have not been good on national television so far this season, unfortunately, and I hope the streak does not continue against the Lakers tonight. We're going to need a lot from Kawhi. Now, the question is he still on a minutes restriction? Last game, he only played 26 minutes. I don't know. The minutes restriction stuff just throws a wrench in everything because you just don't get, your player is literally restricted. You do not get enough out of that guy. You do not get the full output that guy can give you. So if we don't have Kawhi Leonard for the full game or without restriction in this one, I don't know if I have a good feeling about it, just given the way the Lakers have been playing. But as I mentioned, it's got to be a zoo kind of game. This guy's coming off a 33-18 game. We've seen some success with him against the Lakers. I mean, it's going to be a true test for the coaching staff to see if we really feed Zoo. Now, in terms of injuries, Bogdanovic is questionable for the game. It would really be helpful if we could have another shot creator. Because the Lakers, their point of attack defense is not all that. Outside of Marcus Smart, they don't have much. In the stretch that I was watching, those first 7 games with Gabe Vincent out, they had Bronny James playing, who's a good defender, but they were specifically playing him for that reason. And then Vando, Vando can do some good things on that end of the floor as well. But I just hope James Harden can create offensive advantages. You know what I'm saying? Against the Lakers, for whatever reason, since he's become a Clipper, he has not had that success. And Austin Reaves has guarded him well. But Austin Reaves, he's been lazy. Like, I've seen him be so lazy on defense at times this season because of his offensive workload that he's had to carry. Whoever he's guarding has to crash the glass, because I've noticed Austin Reaves does not box out. He does not box out. So we got to crash the offensive glass with whoever that is. Hopefully it's Chris Dunn that he's guarding. But Luka might guard him. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I think, honestly, Harden just needs to put Luka or Austin Reaves in the pick and roll every time. Like, just every single time. Make them guard, especially Luka. Because, Luka, he takes it personally whenever he plays us. He wants to kick our ass. He wants to go crazy because we knocked him out of the playoffs the first 2 times of his NBA career. So let's just put him in the pick and roll every time. They're going to do it to Harden. So, funny enough, though, Harden does a pretty decent job staying in front of Luka, because Harden can't get bullied by him. So it's really just if he can. I don't know. That might be a stretch. But he did a pretty decent job on Luka in the playoffs in 2024. It was Kyrie he struggled with immensely. But, yeah, the 25th in defensive rating thing, that is really crazy. Like, that has to change. That definitely has to change. As far as our offensive rating, we're at 21. So we're starting to look a little bit better. That James Harden Charlotte Hornets game helped a lot. Last year we were like 17th. So, it's not crazy. Let's see. Last year in offensive rating, we were 15th. So middle of the pack. So we're worse this year. But again, Norman Powell hasn't been playing. We don't have him this year. Kawhi Leonard's been hurt. So, by the way, we were 2-8. For those that don't know, we were 2-8 without Kawhi. So that was no good. No good at all. Net rating-wise this season, we are 24th. So we just haven't been good. Straight up, we just have not been good. I also want to look at some general statistics as well. Let's see where we rank in terms of field goal percentage. 14th. So pretty middle of the pack right there. 3-point percentage. By the way, the Lakers are shooting the second highest field goal percentage in the league behind the Denver Nuggets at 51%. In terms of 3-point percentage, we're 14th. So we're starting to move up. Which is good. Because we've been one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league for a couple of seasons now. Last year, we were 7th in 3-point shooting percentage. Unfortunately, that dipped off in the playoffs. The year before that, we were 6th in 3-point percentage. And the year before that, we were 3rd. So we have been a very good 3-point. And then the year before that, we were 3rd. And the year before that, we were 1st in 2021. We made the conference finals. And the year before that, we were 6th. Man, 2019 Clips, were we up there as well? 2nd. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So it wasn't since the 2018 season that we haven't been top 10 in 3-point percentage. We've been top 10 in 3-point percentage every year. So we need to see something like a return to that. At least, can we be around that number of making open threes? John Collins, we need you, buddy. We need you. Nico's been starting to turn it around with his 3-point shooting, so that's a good sign. But yeah, right now we're 14th in that department. Free throw percentage, we're second. So I love that. That's a great statistic. Second in free throw percentage. Rebounding, though, we're 26th. But guess what? The Lakers are 25th. So that's something we can try to exploit. Crash the offensive glass. Hopefully, Zoo can get a lot of them. But 26th in offense, and I'm sorry, 26th in rebounding is terrible. Terrible. Then assists-wise, we're 27th. Of course, you need guys to make shots for assists. We no longer are the worst team in the league at turning the ball over. So that's great. The Lakers actually turn the ball over more than we do now. They're 26th. We're 21st. So we've gone from 30th to 21st. So we're starting to take better care of the ball, which is huge. So we're trending in the right direction. I think it all depends on Kawhi. Like, I really think, I don't know when his minutes restriction will be lifted, but it's going to be very important for us to get him back to, up to speed. And then hopefully Bogey back, and we can start to make some things shake. The road trip, we got, the big thing was we got off to a bad start to the season, and we were supposed to get off to a great start given the schedule that we got was easier. And then after that easy schedule, or easy start to the season schedule-wise, we had that road trip, which we got, I don't want to say crushed on. We'll see tonight. If we end up 3-4, it's not the end of the world. But that's actually not bad given the circumstances. 2-5, well, that's a dent in your record right there. So we'll see. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. I might be attending a watch party at Intuit Dome inside tonight. We'll see. If I do, we'll have a vlog on Dime Dropper for sure, with the fans interacting as well. And of course, Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to get us up to 8,000 subscribers before the end of the calendar year of 2025. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.